Hello, dear fans, friends, and subscribers of Cricket Happenings. Welcome to the third day sport with your host Ram on this Cricket Happening show between India, where India definitely dictating terms to England, with England being set a target of 482 runs to win the match. On the third day, they were placed at 53 for 3. And one man which I'll be really liking to talk about is the homegrown lad from Chennai, Raviichandran Ashwin, who already we know what he can do with the ball. He has come here and scored a fifth Test century, and that has enabled India to set England a very big target of 482 to win the match. And currently, yesterday at stumps, they were 53 for 3, another 429 runs more. Absolutely a big mountain of runs required if England have to really survive in the second test match. It definitely looks like on the third day's play itself, it will all be over with India putting it across England, and I'm sure India would be leveling the series 1-1. But I don't see any reason why India should not win this test match as we are going into the fourth day. But today, definitely what I'm going to do is definitely going to dwell on length on this particular match. And we'll also, look at the comments made by some English players like former player and commentator David Lloyd of England, Michael Vaughan of England. I would like to talk a few things about it, just wanting to refute what they are actually putting up in the in Twitter, on the media, on the social media. So let's talk the Indian second innings. So yesterday, India resumed at their overnight score of it was I think it was India were probably 54 for 1, I reckon, and it was Rohit Sharma and Cheteshwar Pujara at the crease. England had some quick rewards as soon as they came in. Pujara, very unfortunately, but let us give credit to Ben Foakes' wicket keeping, which was an absolute feature of the day. And Ben Foakes' wicket keeping, absolutely lightning reflexes. It really reminds me of Mahendra Singh Dhoni, the way he was keeping wickets. And the first wicket to go in the morning was Cheteshwar Pujara, who was run out for 7 in circumstances where he came down the pitch, down the wicket. I mean, he wanted to meet the ball with the bat, but the ball actually turned very well bowled by the bowler, whoever the bowler was. And what happened was he basically lost his grip on his bat, and when he tried to ground it, the bat slipped from it because the bat probably he could not ground it properly. The ball actually he could not grip the bat. The ball, I think it got stuck, and in the process, Pujara was, but it also required some nice reflexes. Pope actually getting the ball at short leg back to keeper Foakes, and the combination of Foakes and Pujara going back to the pavilion, run out for 7, which was a big blow for India with the score reading 55 for 2. Now, Rohit Sharma was joined in by the Indian captain Virat Kohli. Virat Kohli was pretty cautious when he came to the crease, as he was definitely on a king pair. And Rohit Sharma, well, he was just, I mean, he had just begun, he had just taken a single and moved his score to 26. When Rohit Sharma, again, this is again a real credit to Ben Foakes' wicket keeping skills, as he stumped Rohit Sharma. It was beautifully tossed up by Jack Leach on the middle stump, stretching. I mean, as you know, Sunil Gavaskar was talking about how I mean everyone has to see how Rohit Sharma is batting, where he's having a full stretch forward. So basically, he's having a long stride to meet the ball, so that negating any turn that could have, and also playing with the turn. And here, Rohit was stretching forward to defend, but the ball dipped and actually passed him, and and the ball also bounced. It has a bit of bounce as well. But Ben Foakes showed lightning reflexes. He brought the ball from a height pretty quickly before Rohit Sharma could get his probably his foot inside the crease. It It was all over. Another great work from folks, which was done in a big flash, one could say. And that was the end of Rohit Sharma stumped folks bowled for 26 with 2 4s and 1 6. Rohit Sharma gone. India 55 for 3 were in definitely a bit of a bother here, even though the lead was there. Two new batsmen at the crease. India decided to promote Rishabh Pant, and one was wondering whether that was the right move. That probably the ploy was to tell Rishabh Pant initiative back after two work. As Rishabh Pant once again, as I said, Ben Foakes was an absolute feature. His wicket keeping was an absolute feature yesterday. It was a tossed up delivery. It was a sort of did not have much pace. I reckon it was outside the off stump. Pant went to actually meet the ball. He came down the pitch. He wanted to hit it with the turn, but in the process, it went past his inside edge, and that was all over. Foakes, as I said, is someone who had any chances to go, and that's what he did. He had already stumped Pant, and Pant was gone, putting India into more trouble at 65 for 4. Pant gone, stumped Foakes, boldly 8, and the experimentation of promoting him totally failing. Now, Ajinkya Rahane walked in. The score read 65 for 4, and Ajinkya Rahane and Kohli were slowly trying to settle down, but Rahane could only reach as far as 10 was concerned, as his wicket was taken by Moeen Ali. This was a ball from Moeen Ali dipping outside the off stump, but there was a bit of bounce as well, as Ajinkya Rahane was on his forward press, and the ball went into Pope's hands at the diving forward short leg fielder, and that was the end of Ajinkya Rahane. Caught Pope, bowled Ali for 10 with 2 boundaries. Now, Virat Kohli was the man who was standing there. He was doing whatever he could. We saw Akshar Patel come in and join Kohli. Kohli definitely played some good strokes, no doubt about it, but he was very, very cautious. He knew where his off stump was, and especially against Moeen Ali, he was really guarded. Now, Akshar Patel came in, and it did not take much time for Moeen Ali to actually claim Akshar Patel LBW. Akshar Patel LBW bowled Ali for 7-1 boundary. This was a ball which actually straightened after pitching, and there was absolutely no bat there, and he was adjusted LBW. So India this time were in a grave crisis, one could call, because the score at 106 for 6, and Virat Kohli was still there. So that was the saving grace for India, that Virat Kohli was there at the wicket. And Virat Kohli reached his 50, which was good to see. But then at 62, it was once again Moeen Ali claiming the wicket of Virat Kohli. And this was a different type of dismissal as far as Virat Kohli was concerned. So let's have a look at the Virat Kohli dismissal. As far as Virat Kohli was concerned, as I said, he was once again Moeen Ali was the bowler. This ball turned against the angle, one could say, and there was a bit of bounce as well, and it went on to hit Kohli onto his knee roll, and it went for the review, and up came the decision that Virat Kohli had to walk back Pavilion, LBW bowled Ali for 62, 7 boundaries, and India at this time, at this juncture, were in more and more trouble when Virat Kohli departed the scene. 202 for 7 with Virat Kohli gone. But at 106 for 6, when India were in a grave crisis. But Raviichandran Ashwin then. Raviichandran, nice partner, and this partnership really grew in proportion as India 2. It happened 96-run partnership between and Raviichandran Ashwin. If you look at Raviichandran Ashwin's strokes, he was willing to play the sweep stroke against the spinners, and the way he played, it was really wonderful to watch. He drove well, and he also cut well, and he definitely made everyone smile, no doubt about it. What a century from Raviichandran Ashwin. I mean, Raviichandran Ashwin was still there. He got company from the tail enders, especially Ishan Sharma, who hung on. Mohammad Siraj and Raviichandran Ashwin and Kuldeep Yadav was LBW Bolali for 3. Ishan Sharma, after a long wait, he was gone for 7. And now Raviichandran Ashwin, the onus was on Raviichandran Ashwin, and Raviichandran Ashwin went there and scored his 5th test for India. He was 106 of 14 fours and 1 6. And he had only, when Ravichandran was approaching his century, he only had the number 11 batsman, Mohammad Siraj, at the crease. Mohammad Siraj was very, very patient, unlike the first match when Pant got a bit livid on him because he went on to slash a delivery by not giving Pant the strike. But this time, Siraj showed a lot of patience, common sense. He waited. He wanted Ashwin to get his century, but as soon as Ashwin got to his century, he blasted 2 6s. He was not out on 16 with 2 4s, and finally, India's innings closed at 286. They were all out for 286. They're setting England a target of 482 runs to win the match with the first innings lead. Now, as far as Ashwin was concerned, Ashwin's wicket was claimed by Ollie Stone. In fact, Ashwin decided that being the only Mohammad Siraj in the crease, it's better for him to throw the batted ball. And that's what he precisely was doing. He was trying to pull a delivery, but he bottom edged the ball onto his off stump. It was all over. And that was the end of Raviichandran Ashwin. And what an inning for Raviichandran Ashwin. A capital innings played. And I'm sure Raviichandran Ashwin is going to be the player of the match when India wins this particular test match. And there was a big roar from the Chennai crowd, really applauding Raviichandran Ashwin. Even the players, there was thunderous applause as Raviichandran Ashwin, the homegrown boy of Chennai, walked away with 106 besides his name, his 5th test century. The last time that Raviichandran Ashwin scored a century was in the year 2017. It has been a long time coming, but it finally came at the right time for India. And as I said, this has definitely, his knock has really put India on an absolute pedestal here. Raviichandran Ashwin, 106, 14 fours and 1 6. Take a bow, Raviichandran Ashwin, and 286 all out. If you look at the bowling figures of the Englishman, it was spinners totally ruling the roost there. 4 wickets apiece to Jack Leach and Moeen Ali. 1 wicket to Ollie Stone, the wicket of Ashwin, and Stuart Broad, 9 overs, 3 minutes, none for 25. So England started their second innings, and once again, Ashwin was back in business. But the first wicket to go today was Dom Sibley. India decided to open with Ishan Sharma and Akshar Patel, and Raviichandran Ashwin was brought in quickly as well. But it was Akshar Patel who gave the breakthrough. Now, Akshar Patel and hit the pad, trying to play, probably thinking the ball is going to turn. He wanted to turn it down through the mid-wicket region, but he was hit on the pad, and he was plummeted in front as the armor delivery from Akshar Patel found the target. Dom Sibley was gone. That was a quick breakthrough there. He decided once. Also did well. He made 25 with 4 boundaries before Ashwin came and grabbed this wicket. Now, this was a looping delivery outside the off stump, basically it was Rory Burns actually nicking the ball to the slip region where the catch was taken by Virat Kohli. Burns gone. England had lost their second wicket. The score at 49 for 2, and England decided to send a night watchman, Jack Leach, to protect the other batsman, but that was of no avail as a leg slip was in place for Jack Leach. The batsman was sent back to the pavilion for a duck. It was Akshar Patel, the bowler. He actually Akshar Patel bowled a ball which had a bit of bounce as well, and it was Leach actually going forward to have a sort of a prod at it, and the prod ended up in the hands of Rohit Sharma in the leg slip. It was all over. Jack Leach was out for naught of the very first delivery from Akshar Patel after reaching the crease as a night watchman, and he was going back in the same mat. It was good night for Jack Leach. And then Joe Root, the captain, came in. He was not out on 2. And as I said, Dan Lawrence has definitely got a different approach to the game. He has decided that it's better to go a bit aggressive rather than potter around. And that's what precisely Dan Lawrence has done. The first time that Dan Lawrence it was looking a bit good. He was not out on 19 with 2 4s and 1 6 along with his captain as England closed the day at 53 for 3, requiring another mountain of runs, one could say. But time is definitely not a constraint. They have 2 full days to go. But as I said, the pitch will be turning into a minefield for sure as England set up with the target of 482, wiped off 53. They have another 429 runs to get on the morrow. And I don't see any reason why the match should not be over on the third day itself. But unless and until there's going to be a cricketing miracle that would happen, which could get England out of the woods here. As far as the bowling was concerned, Ishan Sharma 2 overs, 1 made and none for 6. Akshar Patel 2 for 15. And Raviichandran Ashwin 8 overs, 1 made and 1 for 28. Now, as far as the match is concerned, which is something which I've already spoken about, but I would, Ashwin, well, I'm not going to speak about that, but I'm just going to come back to a comment that has been made on the social media, probably on Twitter, where Sunil Gavaskar was also talking about it. Now, the first thing that I would like to say here, the former cricket players, David Lloyd and Michael Vaughan, had said this is a pitch which is a substandard pitch, and basically substandard pitch, and that's the precise reason they feel that the pitch is to blame for England's poor performance here. Now, I have to say, Sunil Gavaskar in the Star Sports box, commentary box as well, refuted this by saying when Rohit Sharma can show some great technique, this basically boils down to your skills against the third pitch, and Rohit Sharma 161 definitely proves the point. And not only that, now look at Raviichandran Ashwin. Raviichandran Ashwin is not a frontline batsman. He's an all-rounder, no doubt about it. But having such technique, now Raviichandran Ashwin, I don't think Raviichandran Ashwin has a very good technique. But yes, he's reasonably a good batsman, no doubt about it. He definitely played the sweep shot to good effect, which he has already credited batting coach Vikram Rathore, who has worked with him. So kudos to Vikram Rathore for working with Raviichandran Ashwin. But after the former players, former commentator also, definitely I'm going to allude to the fact by saying that there was one gentleman from the Indian team, is the debutant, Akshar Patel, made a comment when tops are served overseas for the Indians never grumble about it. Now let's look at it like this. I am talking in those days when India had the Indian player, the former player and cricket commentator Sunil Gavaskar, being given India had a dearth of new ball bowlers, and I really remember those days when Gavaskar and Abidali, the former Indian players, were given the new ball just to take the shine of it, and after that it was all about the spinners. Bishan Singh Beri, Chandrasekhar, Venkat Raghavan, Erapalli Prasanna. So what I want to say here, I really agree with the fact that Akshar Patel has made a very good point. When green tops are made in probably Australia, England, well, it's all the seaming and swinging conditions. Australia probably. I mean, if such things are made, when you're so India can also basically come up, and I'm talking about those times. Right now, yes, even if there are green tops in overseas, India definitely have the wherewithal. We have the pace. India has the pace. India has the swing. They have everything in the repertoire to exploit the green top. But when I'm talking about those days, I just want David Lloyd and Michael Vaughan to hark back to those 1970s where India had an absolute dearth of fast bowlers. Kapil Dev came. I remember Kapil Dev was the genuine fast bowler India got, and that was in the year 1978 when he made his debut against Pakistan at Faisalabad. I do remember that day because I saw that particular match when I was a schoolboy. And I have to say, I think Akshar Patel has a very good valid point. Akshar Patel, that's a great point that you made. and this is the only way we could refute the claim. And as I said, those days, I mean, Gavaskar and Abidali were the ones taking just 2 or 3 overs just to take the shine of the new ball, and the spinners were unleashed on the batsmen. So you just imagine this: India going playing overseas, Australia, England, not South Africa. I know West Indies, other players. Indians were really struggling when they went there on green tops, like a green mamba as you call it. It was an absolute struggle for the Indians. Well, India had some great batsmen in those days, like Sunil Gavaskar, absolutely technically extremely perfect. We had Gundappa Vishwanath who could play, but the thing that I'm coming to really is wanting to refute the claim made by David Lloyd and Michael Vaughan of England, talking about this substandard pitch. Well, it's India. India probably have definitely done it. They have lost the first Test match, so it's the host country. The host country every time has the prerogative, and that's the precise reason they are made. I mean, what do you call about green tops then? I mean, right now, as I said, it's even Stevens because India has the wherewithal to do it. But what about before? India were absolutely caught at overseas. They were definitely struggling whenever. If you look at the record, India's record is only improved after Dhoni's captaincy and probably Mohammad Azharuddin, and we had Virat Kohli. Now it was very difficult. So I think one can't get into the fact saying that this is and it is the same for both the sides. I mean, you said you need to. These are the test skills that you need to master. So, well, I think no team should be blaming that there should not be any blame coming or telling that if he could go. Well, the only thing that I can say here now, right now, in the context of the game, Joe Root is still there at the crease. They still have some players to come. Stokes, they can do something that Ashwin did and prove us wrong here. And I think those comments that have come as Sunil Gavaskar in the commentators box yesterday are at this cricket show, but I thought an opportunity for me to really voice out my constructive constructive sort of repost to what you put on the social media regarding a substandard pitch. I won't say Chennai is a substandard pitch. It offers opportunities for everyone. I mean, the turning, yes, spinners, yes, India definitely have quality spinners, no doubt about it. But that's how the dice rolls. I mean, as I said, every country has its prerogative when it comes to hosting the matches in their own territory. And I think that's it. I mean, that is the best way that I could say it, dear friends and subscribers. This being said, it's about time for me to really say goodbye to this cricket subscribers who subscribe. I mean, if at all you like this particular cricket show, please go ahead, spread the word to your friends and relatives, and tell them if they're crazy about the game. Go and subscribe to my cricket show, Cricket Happening, on Cricket Reddit, another very active cricket platform of mine. And I also have my own cricket website, www.cricket-status.com. Check in anytime. And unfortunately, as I said, this was my off day for me. So my long weekend is over. And from tomorrow onwards, it's back to business, back to office. So unfortunately, you won't find me doing a cricket show on YouTube, but I will be active on Cricket Reddit for sure. You go to the daily discussion threads on Cricket Reddit. Another series which is coming up, February 22 is the first match. Australia and New Zealand. New Zealand or Australia are already there in New Zealand, and then in the ODI series. Cricket Bonanza coming up this week for sure. Next week, I suppose, 22nd is the first match. Well, dear fans and subscribers, a pleasure, probably on a Saturday. But other than that, as I said, keep your eyes glued on the cricket Reddit page, daily discussion threads on the cricket Reddit. Unless and until I come back to you, it's all over for today.